Okay, recording is on.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the last session, last webinar of the spring semester of 2021. We have an interesting speaker today, especially addressing the talk for professionals and our students on drawing the path of success. We have Nena Abou Atme, who's entrepreneur, accredited certified trainer, a keynote and a keynote speaker. She facilitates a process called rapid planning methods to individuals, groups, organizations, universities, and she works mostly with CEOs and managing directors. The process is considered a key to success on a personal, educational, professional, and organizational level. She's a regular guest speaker on TVs, radios, conferences, and events, panelists and jury in public speaking contests, especially on topics such as empowering women and youth. Nena, that's an introduction, a quick introduction about the talk and about you. So I think that's all from my side. I would like to remind you, this is a reminder for the audience, if you have any questions, you can just ask them on spot, and I'll be directing your questions to the speaker on spot, so we can have a discussion during the lecture. And if you have any questions, you can either use the Q&A section to type in your question, or you can just send me a private message, and then I'll be directing your questions to the speaker. That's all from my side. Nena, for now, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Muhammad. I would like to say hello to everyone, and it's a great pleasure to be with you guys today. And I'm going to be asking if it's possible for each and everyone, if they have a question, as you said, to ask right away, not to wait till the end. And we're going to try to make this webinar a bit interactive. So I have like few small questions for you guys. So it would be nice if you give me your answers right away and make this webinar a bit interactive. So let's start. This is going to be a quick review about a process that I give, as Muhammad mentioned, to university students, organizations. It's called the rapid planning method. It's like, if you can see RPM, is if you want to speed and open the turbo, it's like you make the RPM high. So this process makes you achieve whatever you want in your life or your career, like faster than any other process. And when we finish creating and putting your goals and setting your goals, we create something we call a vision board. We're going to see what is this process. Let me introduce myself very fast. As he said, I'm Nena Abou Atme, and I'm an entrepreneur for more than 17 years. So what I'm going to be sharing with you, it's not only theories. I'm going to be sharing with you my long time experience about entrepreneurship, and I really experienced every step along the way about this process. And this shows you how I've been working with university students. Here on the left, you can see we did the vision board at the end of the sessions, and working with youth on TV and celebrities, politicians, and so on. My first question, my presentation will start with the first question that is very important. The best way to predict the future is to create it. I would like to ask you, do you agree? Do you really think that you are the one who creates his own future or her own future? Anyone can answer? Muhammad, anyone is replying on the chat?
Maybe I can answer, because we maybe the students are not. So
yeah, maybe you will motivate them.
yeah, maybe I can go myself. Okay. Well, of course, the best thing is to create and to work on your future, to have plans, and then to have goals, so you can kind of shape what you're about to go through, and in this way you can predict. But you can never get into I would always say you can never get into 100% of your plans, due to a lot of a lot of obstacles that may be on the way. But at the end of the day, I do agree, of course, with that.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, what we're going to see for the rest of this webinar, Muhammad, is the answer to your question, to this question. Okay, and we're going to discover, is it true that we are the creators of our future? Okay, this is how we start. We are like still in the university, we graduated, we are an entrepreneur, wherever we are in our life stage, there is something that is required. You should have a vision for your future. You want to know what you want in your life. Most of us at the university, we're like, it depends. Many of us have chosen their degree or their major, but a lot of other people, they didn't. They were referred by grades or what their parents, they advised them to do, or the society, and so on. So we lack this, I just have to think, we should have a vision for our future, because we are most of the time driven by our society. And what we need to have in parallel with our vision is to assess ourselves. Do I have the skills required or the abilities required to achieve this future and this vision? And if you can see between where you are now and where you want to be, there is a long path to go. How we're gonna make it? It depends on two things. First, it's your mindset. Second, your performance. And this will identify and will make you shape your future. Okay, please answer on the chatting box if it's a yes or no. Do you think this is how you're going to achieve your success? Or this is the road you're going to take to achieve success? Just answer by yes or no.
We have an answer here. It says no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only one? Guys, we're going to be more interactive. Just answer it. Do you really think when you graduate, this is going to be the road to your success? No, of course not. How it's going to be?
The answers we are receiving is no, mainly.
Definitely it's not, because this is how it's going to be. And I don't know why, like I was one of these people, like when I graduated, I used to think that the first part was the road to success. Now I graduated and money and success is waiting for me. Actually, it's not the truth. The reality is we have a long way to take, a hard way to go, and there's a lot of learning along the way, a lot of failure, a lot of obstacles, and we don't even think about it. And sometimes we know this is a fact, but we do not handle the truth. And here is another fact. If you do not love what you're doing, you will not be able to succeed. And why is that? Let's say Steve Jobs, what he says, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle, because there is one of the main rules of success. You need to love what you do. Let's see what he has to say for us as an advice.
I'm wondering what would be the single most valuable piece of advice you'd give us to even attempt to create some of the value that you guys have done in both your very impressive companies.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when, when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
Why you need to love what you do? There are facts. We're going to be talking about facts. First thing, imagine life, like where you live, economy, politics, other people, everything is 10%. And how you deal with it is 90%. How does it work? Let's say we have two sisters or two brothers or two people. They have the same background, the same family, they live in the same countries, and out of a sudden there is something that happens and you have to deal with it. And we all agree that each and everyone deal with the same situation differently. This proves that how we deal with the situation makes people different. And psychology is 80%, mechanics, what you know as skills, knowledge, abilities is 20%. Psychology is 80%. If you do not love what you do, you will be wasting the 80%. How are you going to be succeeding in a career path that you do not love and you lost the 80% of your emotions? Let's say, let me translate it in a different way. What if you have to wake up every day and go and spend most of your time in a career or a job that you do not love? How are you expecting to overcome obstacles or problems or issues that are going to be happening every day on a daily basis? So this will explain why do you really need to love what you do. On top of that, our daily choices create and shape our life. And this, if you're going to be noticing, like every slide is the answer to the first one, if we are really the creators of our future. On a daily basis, we have to make decisions, small, medium, and large decisions. And if you do not love what you're doing right now, you're going to be continuing this path if you do not make a change, okay? And how you're going to be deciding, like if you can see on this slide, there are intersections. You pass one, let's say you took the right side, and then you stop on another interaction. You have to go left or right. So these are small and daily decisions that you have to make. How you're going to be aware which side to take. If you do not have goals in your life, how it's going to work? I would like to ask, any one of you has clear goals for your future? Also say yes or no. Do you have goals for the future? Personal or professional, it doesn't matter. Okay. This is the situation, and this shows you if you have goals in your life and if you don't. On the left, if you don't have goals, we know that life is full of left and right, straight. You have to go each and every way that you find on a daily basis. So if you do not have goals and you don't know which path to take, you might end somewhere that you don't want to be. On the other hand, on the right side, if you have goals, you can see the future. You are aware about the path that you need to take to achieve what you want in your life. So having goals or not having goals makes a big difference in our life and career. Do not separate your life from your career because you are the same person. Many people make that mistake. I'm not going to go into details because this is a complete different section of the training. This RPM process can be applied on your personal life, your professional life, your business, organization, or for anything that you want to go from where you are now to where you want to be in the future. And this process is based on around 500 people. They did studies over these successful people. They found there are patterns that they all went through that they made them achieve success. And we're going to be like going through few of these patterns. As we discovered, one of the main things is to have a vision, to have a goal, and defining where you are now. Where you stand in parallel, you can see your goal, and you have to fill up the gap that will connect you with your goal. And this is what happens.
Maybe we have a question here, so we can start a discussion.
Okay.
With sometimes when we talk about loving what we do and going to work every day in the morning, doing the thing that we'd like to do and we'd love to do, but sometimes you don't get the luxury of choosing what to work with, and you have to work on what is available for you, and you have financial goals that you have to achieve. So how do you create this balance between I'm going to a job that I love, and at the same time I have some commitments that I have to satisfy. If what I love and what I like is not available at the moment, but I still need to get a job because this is what I have to do once graduating.
Exactly. Okay, this question is perfect and it's right on time because this slide is gonna be the answer. Okay, I need to define what I love and do in my life. This is a technique that I work with and it takes time. Don't think it's something easy to define what you really want in your life, okay? But once you know what you really want, let's go for this green arrow. This is, and the right, and this is your destination where you want to feel success. And success is different, Muhammad, from my success, your success, George's success. It's completely different. But it's only one road that we need to take to achieve that success. The question was, what am I supposed to do if I'm not qualified now? I do not have, the situation doesn't help to be doing what I want. If you can see here, from where you are now to get where you want to be, there is a long way to go. And being somewhere that you do not want to be, or you're doing something that you do not love, sometimes it's a bridge. It's not the end result, okay? So sometimes we need to work in an organization or a job that we do not love, but we need to gain money, or we need to gain experience, or we need to get over a few obstacles that we are obliged to use this period of time to solve the long-term result. I'm going to give you an example. I have a goal, okay, and my goal was there is something I wanted to achieve in public speaking and my training career. What happened? Something happened in my country. Everything was like the economy was collapsing and everything has changed. All my map and roadmap have changed, but my goal didn't. Okay, what happened? I have to move to Dubai and start almost from scratch again because we lost everything we had in Lebanon. But I didn't give up on my goal. My plan was changed. I'm doing a lot of things that I'm not used to do and I wasn't planning to do. But this, you make deviation in your life. Your roads change, you will get blocks in your road, but you do not give up on your goal. You take a different path. But if you're doing something that you do not love for a short period of time, you have to do what you have to do, but you have to learn that this is a bridge and you are doing something that will lead you at the end to your final goal. So we should never think about today what is happening. If today, what you're doing today will lead you to what you want later on, then this is the mindset you should have. You should never give up on your end goal, okay? The process of RPM is very simple, but it requires a high skill and practice, to be qualified to use it. It's divided to 3 parts. Number 1, is to know what you want as a goal, as an outcome, or a result. on a personal level, professional level, or your business. And you need to know why you made that choice. And as I said, it's 80% your psychology, it's the why. If you do not know why you made that choice, why you set and defined this goal, and this is what I want, if you do not know your why, so you don't know your 80% and the motivation you need to achieve that goal. And this is where we work the most, is to define the why I want to achieve that goal. And then number 3, we create the map. Imagine, if I ask you, Muhammad, when you get to your office in the morning, what was the first thing that you do?
Well, it depends on the day, because maybe the nature of my job is a bit different. So it depends on the classes that I have. So
regardless, everyone starts the same way. If you're a student, you're an employee, or a business person, it starts the same way. Let's see, how do you start your day? How do you just start your day? What do you do when you get?
I would do a little bit of preparation to check my schedule, to reply to some emails, and of course I would plan my day ahead. If I didn't plan it one day in advance.
Exactly. This is what everybody does, because this is the traditional way, the old-fashioned way of working. And this is the difference of the rapid planning method. You start your day with setting your priority goals that you need to achieve before the end of the day. And this process will make a big change in your life and your achievements. So that's why we call it RPM. It's you achieve what you need to be doing in a very and fastest way than usual. So how does it happen? How can I define what I want? And this is a brief, definitely it's not exactly the right process, but this is where we start. I don't know if you heard about the 5 whys analysis. You need to keep asking the right questions until you get the right answers. So if we had time, we would make a small practice at the end of the webinar. So please keep this in your mind. How can I define what I want? Is to keep asking the right questions until you get the right answer. And 80% of the times, the right answer is not the first one. That's why we keep asking around 5 times what is the why behind the answer. About this process, there is a study that was done in Harvard. They asked 100 students in MBA who has goals and they have plans for this goal. 84% of the students, they were like, we all say, I'm going with the flow, I go with the flow. 84% were like, they had no goals. 13%, they had goals, but it was in their mind. If I ask you, do you have goals? Many of you might say, yes, I have goals. But 3%, do you have written goals with the plan to achieve them? Imagine from the 100 students, there was only 3 who had written goals with their plan how to achieve them. At the end, after 10 years, they got in contact with all these 102 students, and they discovered that the 3% who had goals with plans, they achieved 10 times more than all the rest together, combined together. So having goals, that's so critical and a game changer, having goals and a plan. Even if you go, just after we finish this webinar, go online and do your own research. You will find out that having the skill of setting goal is a must skill to have and even to master. Because if you check here, and even Business Insiders tells you that setting goals and visualizing them. Visualization became a part of goal setting. So setting goals and visualizing them is a must. And you can see if you go on CNN, they are always talking about setting goals, and it's became integrated in schools in the US and universities. How can I define what I want? It's not that easy. And you have to do this in being relaxed, being alone, in a calm place, and start with figuring out what you really want and using the 5 whys analysis until you figure out what you really want. How can I define and that this is what I want? You will feel it, because your emotions are so attached to what you love and what is your vision. Maybe you don't know it consciously, but subconsciously, when you start exercising and doing this process, when you arrive to that, this is what I want, you will feel it. Your heart and your emotions will tell you this is what you want. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Writing things down makes the whole story different, because it's a connection with the brain. I'm going to be talking to you most of the time. If you go to the supermarket and you have a list that you need to buy, okay? If you go to the supermarket and you don't have them written down on a piece of paper, what's going to happen?
I may either forget some of the things that I would like to get, or I would maybe buy something that I did not need.
Definitely, and you might forget main things that you need, maybe to cook. It's a major thing that you forgot. It's the same thing in life and your career. If you do not have everything that you think about and that you want to achieve, or it's something important to you, you don't have them on a piece of paper, you're going to forget them later on. Plus, when you write things down, it's a neurological message to the brain. So what you write down is going to be connected to your mind. And that's why, and this is where it came from, the idea of when there is a commitment between 2 people, you have to sign at the end of the contract, right? So when you sign on something that you wrote and you agree on, it's like a commitment. And this commitment goes straight to the brain. That's why when you have something important in your mind and that you want to achieve or do or whatever, always have your small book beside your bed and write everything down so you will not forget, and try to read them almost on a daily basis. Here I'm saying things very fast because there are a lot of details that goes between these slides. A short statistic. If you write things down and you write your goal down, this is a neurological message to the brain, and so the brain can focus. And then if you create a plan and write down the plan, it's going to be 65% you will achieve your goal. And if you have a vision board and you visualize your goals, it's going to be more higher than 67% to achieve whatever you want in your life and career, both. And this is how you need to visualize yourself. You need to believe in yourself. You need to think that nothing is impossible. It all depends on how you are going to deal with the situations, obstacles that will pop up in your life. It's all up to you. And how you visualize, you need to set an intention and you visualize. You don't just visualize randomly. Like Muhammad Ali Clay, when he wanted to become one of the most powerful boxers, he didn't visualize himself like doing boxing. He always visualized himself the top boxer in all times. So this is what we need to visualize. Visualize what you really want and where do you see yourself in details, and have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, because if you do not believe in yourself, you cannot ask others to believe in you. I will always repeat that it's all up to you. What you have inside of you will show to people. If you do not have self-confidence, people will feel it. They will touch that you do not trust yourself. How are you going to be asking people to hire you or become a partner with you in a business if you do not believe in yourself? Okay, so when you start creating this vision for your future and creating, this is me and this is what I want to become, and set a goal, And this is where you need to start your road. Visualizing, I chose this picture only because we're working in your department for art. So I think this is your way of visualizing things with the high tech you have in your university. And why we need to assess yourself. Let's say I want to become the most famous speaker in the Arab world, okay? If I do not assess myself and figure out if I am qualified for that goal, how am I supposed to work on my skills and develop myself to become and achieve that goal? So assessing yourself is a very important part of this process. After you define what you really want and you love in your life, you need to sit down to assess yourself. And at the same time, you have to go to a specialist, someone who is specialized as a career coach, or I don't know, at the university, if you have someone that can help you out to define and assess your professional skills and figure out what are the gaps in your knowledge and skills and abilities that you need to improve and develop until you become a match of this goal that you want to achieve. And this shows us, you cannot, let's say, I'm gonna become, what do you do, Muhammad? Or if someone else want to ask a question. I'm targeting you all the time.
Yeah. What do I do as in what's my job?
Whatever, our university, whatever.
Yeah, I work in the university. I'm teaching.
Okay, what do you teach?
Architecture.
Okay, let's say I want to take your job. That's my dream job, and my goal is to become an architecture teacher. I cannot go, what if I go and apply to the university? Am I gonna be chosen to fit that job? Of course not. How am I be working on myself and preparing myself to fit that job? When I do my assessment and figure out and define the requirements and the tasks and what is the job description for this position that I want, and start preparing myself, working on what I need, and upgrading myself until I match this position. Then I go apply to becoming a teacher in architecture. Okay, I do not go up like job seeking before preparing yourself to match that job. Okay, we do all this process before applying to that specific job. So when you define your goal, what do you really want to apply for a specific job, work on your personal and professional development, then you need to go to apply for it. Why it's happening, that big gap between when you graduate and hiring in the market? It's the lack of skills. So the same thing I was explaining in the slide in the slide before, okay, that the lack of skills and knowledge for the specific jobs, students are not working on their personal development until they graduate. So let's say, especially in art and architecture, there's a lot of field at the same major. So you need to specify, I'm gonna be giving you a different example. I was giving a workshop in Lebanon to, let's say, architecture. It was engineering and medical school. I asked a student, he was like majoring in, he wants to become a doctor. And I asked him, do you really know you want to become a pediatrician? Do you know what happens in the surgery room? These days, do you know what are the technologies that are used in the surgery room? And he said no. So this student, when he graduates, how is he going to be able to find a job? So this is what we need to do, is to really work on your skill before you graduate. So when you hit the market, you will be able to find the jobs that you really want. Working on your personal development is a process that doesn't end. You need to keep working on your personal development non-stop along the way until you achieve your goal. Because every time you achieve a goal, that we call milestones, you need to work on yourself to upgrade yourself all the time until you get to the major goal. And there's something very important to make a difference between it. You need to find the difference between skills and degrees. When you find a job, you need to be aware if this job that I'm hunting, does it require more skills or it requires more degrees? Before you go and do your MBAs or PhDs or whatever, when you know what you really want to achieve as a job, this will help you to define if you need to upgrade your skills or upgrade your degree. One of the most successful people in the world is, and this is most of them, they are goal-oriented. Microsoft, Bill Gates' goal was a computer. He wanted to put a computer on each and everybody's desk in every business. And this is what happened. He had a very specific goal and it was very clear. On the other hand, Steve Jobs works on innovation. And he wanted to have and to be the #1 IT available in the market. So each and everyone had a different goal for the market. And here, like you work with George on the VR, this is the future. And you are so lucky to be in that university that is going to be #1 in the Middle East. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. If you look at the history and the bios of all successful people, you will know that they made too many mistakes until they achieved their success. So never be stopped and be afraid of making these mistakes. And always remember that they all started from scratch. Remember this picture in your mind. And this is visualization. This is a very important part that we work on at the end of the process. 10% of whatever we do in our life is based on our conscience. 90% of what we do is based on the subconscious. What difference does it make if we create a vision board? When we start working on the process of RPM, the first part we start working on setting goals and figuring out what you really want to achieve in your personal and professional life. And the second part of this process, we go and create a vision board. What is a vision board? All your goals are written down on a piece of paper, and then we try to create a visual representation of these goals. We get images that represent your goal in a very specific and clear way. So when you look at it, you see yourself in this image. And then we write beside it why you made that choice, why you chose that you want to achieve that goal or you want to do this in your life. And it's very personal and it represents you and only you, not your family, not your sisters, not your beloved ones, no one except yourself. And when you finish creating this vision board, you put it in front of you, in your office, beside your bed, beside your desk, and you start visualizing your vision board on a daily basis. This is an example of a vision board. Even if there is a specific amount that you want to achieve, you have it, you write it down on your vision board so you can see it and visualize it on a daily basis. If you can see here, it's the car or money, or where you want to be on a magazine, or your friends, whatever. And you can find the whys of these goals. Very few of the celebrities that they use this process, they have goals and they visualize them. We're going to watch this small video that will show you these celebrities, how they made it using goal settings and visualizing their own dreams.
I have a vision that you have a goal. Because without that vision and without that goal, again, you're drifting around and you're never going to end up anywhere. People don't become successful just by accident.
I would say to continue to work hard and don't give up on your goals. And I know for me, like I said, I grew up watching my family struggle, and I grew up with a family that was successful but not born successful. And I believe with hard work and with a goal and love and positivity, then eventually we're going to be fine.
You're emulating a certain, bodybuilder or a certain football player, a certain boxer, whatever it is. Have those pictures put all over the wall like I did when I was a kid. I put pictures of Reg Park and of Sonny Liston, of boxers and of Ali and of powerlifters and weightlifters all over my bedroom, wall. So that every day when I go to sleep, every day when I wake up, I look at those pictures and they motivate me. You need that motivation, and then therefore you have this kind of imprint in front of you all the time, and you know exactly what you're chasing.
Thing is visualization. I visualized this for myself. When I was selling copiers door to door, I had a very clear vision of what my life was going to be like. And I encourage everyone to do it. Take a snap photo of what success looks like for you.
Without any idea about why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, to want and to be ambitious and to want to be successful is not enough. That's just desire. To know what you want, to understand why you're doing it, to dedicate every breath in your body to achieve. If you feel you have something to give, if you feel that your particular talent is worth developing, is worth caring for, then there's nothing you can't achieve.
Okay. If you noticed that along the way, since we started till now, it was all the answer to the first slide. The best way to predict your future is to create it. As you've seen in this short video, it's, as I also mentioned, that achieving success, studies showed that there are patterns that everyone goes through until you achieve that goal, that end goal. That starts with defining your goal, figuring out and assessing yourself, and figure out the gaps between where you are now and where you want to be, and draw the roadmap that will lead you there by overcoming the obstacles, not having fear get over you to stop you from achieving what you want, on your personal development, and trust yourself, believe in yourself, and loving what you do until you achieve what you want. And this shows that if you do not love and you are not convinced that this is what you want in your life, this is where you are going to quit. And you won't go through all this hard work until you get there. Starting with setting your goal, visualize yourself. This will lead you to really define what you want. The one time you visualize your end goal and you feel it, as I told you, you will feel it in your heart that this is what you want. Create your plan. And after all this done, we need to take action. We all say knowledge is power. No, knowledge is a potential power, and it becomes power when we take action. Any questions?
Maybe we have a question here. So when we set the goals and when we are in the process or the path to achieve these goals, what do you usually do when you feel that you're taking more than you can handle during the process of achieving the goal that you set?
Okay, the mindset has a lot to do with that. As I said at the beginning also, we have 10% is the situation and 90% is your mindset, how to deal with it. If you find it's too hard on you, just take a break. Put everything on pause and work on yourself. Work on your mindset. Just figure out if you need help, if you need to take a break and stay away from stress or from your hard work. You treat the situation depending on how you, like, let's say, what is bothering you. You have to define what is hard on you to find the way how to deal with it. Okay, you cannot give one solution to all problems. So in that case, what is hard for you and you are handling more than you can, you need to take a break, figure out what is happening, find the solution, deal with it, and then continue. But never, at the end, never give up on your end goal. I'm gonna give one advice that will lead to many, that will answer many questions. When you have a goal and you define what you really want and where you are now, you will draw a map that will lead you there. But what happens along the way, you will find a lot of roadblocks. You will find obstacles. You will find, I don't know, situations. You will find people that will stand in your way. You will find people that they will stop you, they will do whatever they can to take your place. You will find it at work. You will find it in your life. You will find it in your family. You will find it in your brother or your sister. I don't know. It's all over the world around you. You're going to be surrounded with a lot of people, and things will happen in life that they're going to be stopping you from getting where you want. The only difference, as I said, there are two people. It's either you will go after what you want and no matter what, and learn how to deal with every situation you go through, or you will give up. If you love what you're doing, you're not going to give up. If you do not love what you're doing, you will. But it depends on you and your mindset, how you are going to deal with each and every situation. And this is what I work on the most, Muhammad. Like, when I work with people, every person, we assess the situation and we figure out what they need to do and upgrade themselves or wake up. Sometimes they have to go and do therapy. If you do not do this therapy, you will not be able to continue. So it depends. But there is a solution for every situation.
Right. Maybe George has some feedback.
Yes, Nena, I actually have a question. First, thank you so much for this insightful, really, presentation and informative. I'm sure, you know, everyone learned a lot of things today. I have actually a question. You know, like the future and what's happening now is actually a lot of professions may become obsolete in the future. So there's always this concern that with all the changes that we're passing through, especially, you know, for the past year and so, there are some things there will be big changes happening. What would you advise, you know, the student and our listeners today, how they can cope or how they can deal with that change?
Okay, this is very important, George. That's why when I said, when you have a vision, listen, if you are choosing to become a teacher, okay, in architecture, in the future, this career might be different. He might be like giving his class at home with a virtual, you know, like now, like you have this virtual background. You will be giving your lecture from home, or I don't know how it's gonna be. But your goal of becoming a teacher in architecture shouldn't change if this is what you really love. What should change is how to upgrade your skills, how you have to stay up to date on a daily basis. There's no more next month or in 6 months. Every day, things are changing on a daily basis. When you are updating yourself constantly and upgrading your skills constantly, so you will be adjusting and adapting, you know, to the market, with the market. You're going in parallel with the market. So you cannot be at the university taking your courses and settle with this information that you are getting during these courses. No, you have to upgrade yourself. On the other hand, and many universities, they have like the education center in the university, you know. This is where you have to go and upgrade your skills, like what you're doing in the virtual reality in your lab. What they're having maybe in their classes is not going to be coping what's happening in the market. And no university in all the world will be coping with the market. So unfortunately, they will be double majoring. And what they have as regular courses at the university, and they should be upgrading themselves constantly. Because one thing, if they do one course, let's say in architecture this year, next year the same course will be different. So constant upgrading yourself, this is the only way that you will fit the market and you won't be unemployed. Because it depends, but the goal doesn't have to change.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Any other question?
I think we do not have questions for now, but I think that was a very important talk, informative. We had, I mean, a good way of maybe a motivational talk in here to just to know how to set the goals and to keep working on the goals. That's if you are on a smooth path, then you're not in the right path, I think. And so I think that was a very, very important motivational talk.
Nena, any last advice you would like to say to everyone?
Yes, there are many people like they are blessed to have easier path than others. You know, some are born rich in a different countries. Like, you know, some people, they have advantages over others, but it doesn't mean that if I don't have everything that I won't be able to achieve what I want. And if you go and look at most successful people, you will find out that they had a past worse than ours. So if they made it, so can we. Okay, just learn from other people how they made it. This will help you a lot. It will like put you halfway of what you want. I want to say sorry for being confused because I'm having chills since yesterday. I'm not focusing a lot, but I did the best I can.
Thank you for the talk. I think it went well. Thank you, Nena, again for the talk, and thanks for everyone who joined in today, and thank you, George, for organizing this.
Thank you so much for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last webinar for the spring semester. We continue in the summer with another set of CRID webinars. Until then, enjoy the rest of your days, guys, and I'll see you soon. See you. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.